Hello everybody, today we're going to talk about how to use our centrifuge. So in this case I'm using sodium chloride and I'm mixing 5 drops of silver nitrate, and we see that a white precipitate forms when I mix the two of these. And to centrifuge, the whole purpose of that is so that I can separate the solid from the liquid solution. So I take a centrifuge tube, I'm going to pour my precipitate liquid into that. And then I'm going to cap it. So the important thing to note about this is when I add an additional test tube to my centrifuge, I need to add one that has equal amounts of liquid. So take a look at these two here. They're approximately equal amounts of liquid so that it's counterbalanced, so they're about the same mass. And then I'm going to put them separate from each other so they're directly opposite each other. So if you're using these, I do suggest either marking the top or on your sheet, writing down what color tube you're using for what substance. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to turn it on for about 30 seconds. And then I wait for it to completely stop revolving before I hit the open button. And I'm going to pull out my two solutions. So you'll see that all of that white cloudy liquid has created a pellet down here at the bottom. Everything above that liquid is called the supernatant. So that's just the liquid, residual liquid, and that's what we want to get rid of. So we're going to decant the supernatant, which just means to pour it off. I'm going to use my same test tube I used before to pour it off. As long as I don't need to use this for something later, that's perfectly fine. So I'm going to pour it off, making sure I don't get the pellet in there as well. So I want to make sure the pellet's still there. And then I'm going to do a wash procedure. So some procedures require you to wash, others do not. So in this case, we're going to add some deionized water, and what this does is as long as we're adding something that doesn't dissolve the solution or the solid, we're okay. So I'm adding DI to that. So I'm pretty much just rinsing off all of the other potentially leftover silver nitrate so that the reactions I do later don't cause interactions with that silver nitrate. So we're mixing that up, washing it. I'm going to throw away my toothpick. And I'm going to centrifuge again. So for that rinse process again, I just added a little bit of DI water after I'd poured off the supernatant, and then I mixed it with a toothpick. Now I'm going to put it back in to my centrifuge directly opposite my tube that I'm using for counterbalance, and again for 30 more seconds. So notice it's not quite counterbalanced because it's moving a little bit. So it means one of the tubes is slightly heavier than the other. But I'm making sure it's not going to fall off the table. Again, I wait until it's completely stopped to open, and I should have a nice silver pellet at the bottom. Again, you're probably going to decant the liquid off the top, which means we just pour off all of that supernatant liquid. So that's everything that's not the white pellet solid at the bottom. And then we are ready to add, oops, sorry, you can't see. We're ready to add our next set of reagents.